Shut up and sit down.
Oh, like, I don't know what they look like. Sometimes you send me a Kai thing, and I'm like,
Stop.
and he's like the most recognizable one.
Okay, well, welcome back to another episode of The Bias Effect. I'm Nikki.
I'm QJ.
We would like to put a trigger warning at the top of this. Today we'll be talking about EXO, and one of the members has some stuff about him, so there will be a trigger warning for rape and sexual assault. So just if that is upsetting for any of you, or you will not want to listen to that, totally understand, and you can come back to the next episode. But it will just be, there is just one member that we discuss that passed, so just keep that in mind. So
We can try to like make a note right before we start talking about it as well. Like if people do want to
yes,
listen to EXO but don't really want to hear that part, then we'll try to drop a little note right before so you can just skip ahead a couple minutes.
yes, because it's only one member and
We don't want to waste that much time on him.
exactly, get out of here. But yeah, so today is another episode about a band, just a singular band episode. So we're gonna talk about EXO because I see so much about EXO, and I was like, I don't really know so much about them. So I wanted to dig in, and then of course we've heard me talk about Kai forever. So I've been listening to Kai, and then I was like, oh yeah, what about EXO? And so I dug into it, and there are a lot of, it's a big band. Big band.
Yeah.
And again, this is where I started digging into SM Entertainment too, which is their label, and very questionable things came up about SM. So we will get into it. So EXO debuted on April 8th, 2012. They are third gen. Their fan name is, like, the name for the fan base is EXOs.
I don't understand that.
I know, I don't really either. I think we briefly mentioned, like, but fan base names don't always make sense to me at all.
Yeah, that's true.
But maybe it's something to do with, I don't know, basically, EXO-ols.
It sounds like assholes.
I know. I was like, oh, you EXOs. Yeah. But I'm sure there's a reason. I did not dig too much into that, but we can just start talking about, there's, I think the current number of members is 11 or 12. Again, I've been knee deep in researching all of them, so there are still a lot of them. So I will say, EXO, a bit of their history first, of the band. So just a quick note about, so when EXO debuted, they actually debuted in two separate, like, subunits, subgroups. So it was EXO K and EXO M. So EXO K was the Korean members, and EXO M was for the Chinese Mandarin members. Or not all of them in EXO M were Chinese, but they could sing in Mandarin. I always find this so interesting. I don't understand necessarily why agencies will do that, like subunits. I guess this is the one that makes the most sense to me for subunits because it's different, two completely different languages. I also find it interesting because EXO is like one of the first bands I've seen that was distinctly like, we are Chinese and Korean group.
I just find it weird that that's how it debuted. Like I could understand that if it debuted as EXO and then later they were like, oh, we're doing a branch of the Korean members and a branch of the Mandarin members. If this is how you're starting, why didn't you just do two different groups?
Yeah, I know.
Like why would you do EXO-K, EXO-M? Like why wouldn't you just have two different groups then? Like that part doesn't really make sense to me, but like I do see where you mean, like the subunit, the idea of these subunits makes more sense than some other ones do, but to debut that way is just odd to me.
Yeah, and then, well, we'll find out later, it kind of dissolved very quickly, and then they were just like, well, it should be EXO. So
Yeah.
we'll get into that later, but I wanted to make that point because you'll hear me a lot when I'm breaking down the members, that what subunit they're in. So I wanted to make that distinction. So we'll go in band order, which is leader and then age order, I believe. So the first member is Suho, or Kim Jun-myeon, born in 91, the leader, lead vocalist, and the visual. he's just the main guy. He was debuted in EXO-K. Okay, so I will say right off the bat, every single EXO member was basically just like spotted on the street, and they're like, "You should join SM." They're like, "Okay," and then all of them have done some kind of acting too, which kind of goes back to our other point where it's like, if you're an idol, you better be able to do everything. So yeah, he became a trainee through SM's casting system in 2006 when he was 16, after he was discovered on the streets. All right. He also has done acting. In 2016, debuted with indie film One Way Trip. He's done some solo work. His first EP came out in 2020, Self Portrait. And he has completed his service at this point. February 13th, 2022, he's been discharged, and he did public service.
That's the 2-year one, right?
I think a lot of them did public service too, and it's like interesting. They're like, I don't care, I'll take my time.
Yeah, they want to take a extra long break.
They're like, oh, it's fine. Yeah, they're like, oh, the T in our group, I don't want to be back there. No, I'm just speculated. Okay, and then the second member is Shumin, or Kim Min Seok, born in 1998. Sub-vocalist and sub-rapper. He was in EXO-M, even though he's Korean, but he was in the Mandarin group. And then later, he was a part of the subunit CBX, which again, the subunits of EXO are like too much for me to deal with. But
yeah, it gets out of control.
CBX is the 3 members' first initial, so it'll be Chen, Baekhyun, and Shumin. So that's CBX. So he auditioned originally for JYP in 2008, but was rejected. He participated in SM's Every Sing contest and placed second, and then became a trainee from there. He's also done some acting. He did a web drama, Falling for Challenge, in 2015. Also done some solo work. First mini EP in 2022, brand new. Then this is some interesting tea as well. Member Baekhyun has a label that he created himself called INB 100, and a few of the members from SM do their solo work under his label. Some spicy tea between SM and their members. So that's Shumin, and then Baekhyun is the next member. Byun Baekhyun, 1992, main vocalist of EXO-K and then EXO-CBX. So he's quite interesting. He's got a lot going on. He started training to become a singer at 11 years old, influenced by Rain. He was the lead singer in a high school band and won a local music festival. Okay, cool. He was taught piano by Kim Hyung-woo from rock band Dick Punks, which I thought was like, okay. Alrighty then. Yeah, okay. Cool, I guess. He was also trained as a martial artist. Again, he was just spotted out in the wild by an SM agent while he was studying his entrance exam to the Seoul Institute of the Arts in 2011. He's done some acting, and he also received a New Star Award for this acting he did in an historical drama called Moon Lovers. And then, yeah, there was like a League of Legends. Oh yeah, he's also a gamer. There was like SM did this whole League of Legends tournament, and he and another SM label, someone else signed under SM, Hachel, played in with both professional players and fans. Anyway, I was like, that's just a random fact. So this guy literally does everything. He sings, he dances, and is a gamer. Okay. And acts.
I see a lot of idols play League of Legends.
I know.
I don't know that. I guess it's just popular over there that they just happen to play it. But like Felix plays League of Legends too, and I think some of the ATEEZ guys play League of Legends, and like I was like, why are everyone playing LOL?
Yeah, like maybe it's like some under like they're like, just play your game, we'll pay you, like a sponsorship
Maybe,
thing.
yeah. I don't know.
Maybe get that cash. But I know there's like a secret, or like that's a secret, but like a underground of like idols that are gamers. I'm like, you guys can't do everything, okay? Give some of these things for us normies, okay? Baekhyun has also done solo work. He also has completed his service, February 5th, 2023. Oh yeah, I found this interesting. Is hypothyroidism. So he he had to do public service. Okay. Hypothyroidism is basically you just like lose weight really fast. You're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you're like, sure.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats. Lucky you. So you just do public service. Okay. The next member, okay, Chen, also legal name Kim Jong-dae, 92, main vocalist. He's in EXO-K and EXO-CBX. He became a trainee in 2011 through the regular casting system. And then there was this like ballad group in SM called SM The Ballad. And he joined that group in 2014. He actually ended up singing a duet with Jonghyun through that SM The Ballad. There's like so many random spin-offs with SM. I'm like, I don't understand how these companies work, but whatever. He's done some solo work, and he also does all of his solo work under Baekhyun's brand INB100. He also finished his service. He was an active duty soldier. Okay, but this is kind of where it gets wild for Chen. He's married, first of all, period, to a civilian girlfriend. So he lets us live our fantasies that we can actually marry an idol one day. So they legally got married in January 2020, but due to COVID, they couldn't have their ceremony. So
You can say that if you want. It's fine. That's pretty funny.
yeah. So yeah, when I was reading this fact, QJ was going to get married around.
It was December 2020, yeah. So I also didn't get to have a ceremony. So in your notes you put trigger warning for me.
It was a rough time. Like I was also like
People were just doing what they could.
exactly. So when I read that, I was like, oh, this is like quite close to. But yeah, so they couldn't have their wedding, but they had a ceremony 3 years later, on October 22nd, 2023. The other interesting thing, well, this part's not shocking, but a lot of the members were at his wedding, but Kai was actually in service at the time, but he still was able to go. So I was like, oh, that's cool that he was able to go to see his buddy's wedding even though he was in service.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to know that the members went to his wedding because it makes you think that they actually like each other.
Now, this was the interesting part. So Chen and his wife have 2 children. One was born in April 2021 and the other in 2022. If you do the math, she was fully pregnant and had their child while he was in service.
This is why I was saying when we were talking about service before, and I was like, there's got to be exceptions because there's just no way that like he's married with 2 kids and he's not allowed to like live at home. Like it doesn't make sense. There must be like loopholes and there must be something. Maybe you get more time off if you have like a wife and kids, but like I don't know. There's got to be more to it.
I'm saying, like, because I was like, whoa. The math is, yeah, like, I would not, if I was fully pregnant and my husband was not around, like, this is the one time I got to be extra bossy with my partner. And giving birth, yeah, he better have been able to, like, leave that day to go see his first child born. So, I don't know, that was just a weird math thing. I was like, that's kind of bizarre to me. So anyway, but yeah, Chen makes us live our Delulu fantasies that we can one day marry an idol.
He's one of the early people that I saw that was like a married idol. Like, I know there's a lot, obviously with fans, there's a lot of drama around it where they were like kind of shitting on him or whatever because sorry he fell in love and wanted to get married to the love of his life. Like, excuse me. But he was one of the early people where I was like, oh, idols do get married. Interesting.
Yeah. You're like you said, it was a big deal. Like I didn't really include it all in my notes, but I saw. Yeah, he had to like write a formal like letter being like.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think I saw that too. He had to like write a letter or whatever, and it's like, I'm not apologizing for falling in love, okay?
Yeah, if you're a real fan of me, you'll love me still.
Yeah,
okay?
You'll be happy for me. Don't be a fucking bitch, dude.
Chase, I know. I was like, great, good on him. Like he's married and 2 children. He's living his life.
2 kids, married, like come on.
With most idols don't ever experience love. But I mean, you know what I mean though. It seems like they are highly encouraged not to like, do any of that. So good on you, Chen. We stand Chen.
Yeah.
So the next member is Chen Yul, Park Chen Yul, born in 92. He was the main rapper, sub vocalist, and visual, and he was in EXO-K And then he was in another subunit called SC, which is him and Sehun. He became a trainee after winning second place in the 2008 Smart Model Contest. Okay. Sure. Interesting fact for us, he did the theme song for Goblin with another artist called Punch. In April 2015, he made his acting debut, and he also has completed his service. He was an active duty soldier, and he has done some solo work just more recently in 2024. The next member, D.O. or Do Kyung Soo, 1993. He was a main vocalist in EXO K. He began singing in primary school and was an avid participant in local singing competitions through his high school career. After winning one of them, he was advised to audition for SM. Also, like, did you ever grow up with, like, avid, like, local singing competitions? I don't think I've ever heard of it.
I feel like I've seen it a few times. Like, I think it might be J-Hope was a similar thing. It was like what do you call that? Like a talent show thing. And like he won some kind of talent show, and then I was like, yeah, I guess I'll just do this. And I was like, I mean, we had talent shows in school, but like it was not that serious.
No, exactly. I was like, no one was scouting talent shows for.
I mean, no one was also like hanging out at the bus stop being like, hey, you look hot.
I know. And that's what I mean. Every single one of these stories that you're like, hey, hey, kid.
Hey,
you're
kid.
hot. You're 16. You're pretty hot. You're like, oh. Like, even Felix's story about how he was just, like, scouted on Facebook, I was like, oh, that's just so odd. But, so yeah, and that's how he got in. He won a competition. Cool. He became a trainee during his last 2 years of high school. He also is done acting, like all the members. But what I thought was interesting, the movie he debuted in actually premiered at TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, shout out TIFF. Did you ever work for TIFF while you were at the school? No, me neither.
I never even went.
Actually,
I don't give a shit about TIFF, bro.
Oh, fuck TIFF. But okay, so we both went to the same college in film, and there were because that was in Toronto, there were so many of our, like, classmates.
Yeah, it was definitely a big deal.
Because you could volunteer for TIFF, or like you would just like go downtown and see celebrities. Anyway, yeah, TIFF's a big deal. So I thought that was an interesting that film debuted at TIFF.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
It's so cool.
Pretty fucking cool.
He also has done some solo work. He also changed his label for solo work in 2023 to a company called Company Susu. Okay. He's also finished his service in 2021, and I thought this was interesting because I've never heard this, but he served at the Capital Mechanized Infantry Division, Fierce Tiger Division, as a food handler. Okay. In the kitchen police. So I was like, sure.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know what any of those words mean.
I know! This is what I find the most interesting sometimes about the military stuff. I'm like,
what is that job?
What is that exactly?
I know what these words mean individually, but like...
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, that's what he did. He handled food for 2 years, I guess. Sure.
In the Tiger Division, apparently.
Fierce Tiger Division. Alright. And then Kai, Kim Jong.
My man.
Born in 94. Now, this is funny. I'm gonna read he's basically everything. He's the main dancer, he's a sub-rapper, he's a sub-vocalist, he's the center, and the visual. Okay. He was in EXO K. Now, this I found really sweet. In 2007, encouraged by his father, Kai participated in and won SM Entertainment's Youth Best Contest and signed with the company at age of 13. His dad has since passed away, but he has said that his dad was his biggest inspiration.
Cute.
God. I know. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. He also started acting. Again, another weird SM spin-off thing. He was a part of this group called Super M. It was like supposed to be a K-pop super group with SM and Capitol Records, and it was supposed to be more aimed at an American audience. He's also done solo work, which we have discussed at length at this point, and we've also discussed that he's just finished his service this past February, and he was a social service worker. And just a quick fact, he dated Jennie from Blackpink from late 2018 to early 2019, and he is besties with Taemin, and he's also besties with Jimin. So
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. And actually, yeah, Kai, I think the Kai and Taemin one is real because not just because, but on Taemin's first solo EP, they did a duet together or whatever.
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen reels of the two of them together. Like they are genuinely like they call each other like on the phone and they're like, "Oh my god, I love you. I'm obsessed with you. I miss you." Like they're definitely like friends. The allegedly was for the Jimin. I've never seen him interact with Jimin, but apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Jimin, everyone would be like, I'm friends with Jimin.
Yeah, like if you spoke to him one time, you're like, oh, I'm friends with Jimin. I know Jimin.
I'm besties with Jimin. Yeah, exactly.
I thought when I read that, I thought it was interesting because I know there's a lot of like old tea from EXO and BTS, and I was like, oh well, Kai's friends with Jimin, so obviously the tea wasn't with the groups; it was obviously with their company.
Yeah, yes, I didn't get to do a lot of research into that, but I've seen like weird like just posts of like EXOs and ARMY like just not liking each other either, like the fan bases just like hate each other or stuff like that. There's like tea within there.
The thing that I was seeing was I think that I mean this is all alleged, okay, don't sue me, but I think that SM really pushed EXO like to try and like to do things that BTS was like. The thing I saw was this some sort of like American interview with this guy, and the guy who did the interview was talking about it, and he was like, another company was really pushing their new band, and everyone was like, you obviously were talking about SM and you're talking about EXO, and like the company was being like, oh, BTS is like a filler group, like don't waste your time, like it's it's not worth it and all that. But the interviewer guy was like, I had heard their music and I was like, I wanted to talk to them, so like thanks for your input, but like no thank you. So I think it's like that kind of thing where like it seems allegedly like the SM company was like, no, BTS, don't worry about BTS, you should check out EXO, you should have our group on, not that group's filler, that's trash. So when I read that he was friends with him, I was like, well, obviously it wasn't the group members, which probably wouldn't be anyway because like they don't really have any say anyway, so especially early days.
That definitely tracks with like the shittiness I found out about SM. That would not surprise me at all if SM was just like that. And we'll talk about it later, but I did listen to EXO and I listened to all their albums, and let's just say BTS is BTS
I know, I was like kind of thinking like when there was like the guy said this company told him BTS was a filler group, I was like,
it's the flipped. Yeah,
I was like, are you sure about that? I mean, especially obviously in retrospect, you're like, of course not. But even like first albums, I'm like, are you sure about
that? Yeah. Yeah. So when did BTS debut again? Was it
2013?
Yeah. So EXO debuted in 2012. I said right. Yeah. So yeah, I could.
Yeah, it's like right before.
Yeah, and like I'll talk about EXO was very popular at the time, so I could see where those two would be like competing for the whatever, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, our last current member is Sehun. He was born in 94. He's lead dancer, lead rapper, visual, and Mac9, but he's only in the Mac9 by 3 months. Like him and Kai are like 3 months apart. You're like, okay, sure. He was in EXO K and EXO SC. He was also scouted again, like we said, the weird casting agent vibe. He was out having lunch with his friends at 12 years old, and a casting agent was like, you should come to SM. I cannot imagine being 12 years old, you and me just hanging out in the park, having lunch with some fucking adults like, hey, you should join my agency. Creepy.
Yeah. I guess it has to be just such like a common thing there, because I don't understand how your 12-year-old kid comes home and is like, hey mom, I got this business card from this creepy guy in the park, and she's like, okay, let's go. Like if I was a parent, I'd be like, you're never going to that park again. Like no, this is not happening.
Totally.
What are you talking about? Or like the Felix one on Facebook, I would be like, block that person, block and delete that, change your password.
Yeah. Like, legit. Like, that's so creepy. Like, you're 12?
Yeah.
And some person's like, I think you're hot. Or, like, I think you can be hot.
Like, you got the potential to be a real hottie.
Because he hasn't clearly sung or danced or anything. He was just having lunch with his friends in the park. Oh, yeah. I'm making the park
I don't
understand
it.
Yeah, so anyway, but now he's an EXO, so great. He's done some acting. He hasn't done solo work yet. He has one single, but no formal solo releases. And he is still currently active in the military. He's the last one that needs to be discharged. A social service worker. He will be discharged December 21st of this year. So that concludes the current members in EXO. So yeah, all of them are released now except for him. So once he's back out in December, who knows? EXO will pop off again.
So there's 8 active members, according to that.
Perfect. Yes, I'll trust your math on that.
I don't know if that's your list. There's 8 people. You just said 8 people's names.
Okay, perfect. Okay, then there's 8. Yeah, then there's a 9th potential member, but he's currently labeled as on hiatus. So we have Lei, or Zhang Yijing, born in 91. He is one of the Chinese members. He was the main dancer, sub-vocalist, sub-rapper in EXO M. In 2008, he auditioned at SM at a global casting audition in Wuhan, where he passed, and then he moved to South Korea to do his training. Before he debuted, interesting fact, he filled in for Jonghyun as his dance replacement on the first SHINee World Tour when, at the time, Jonghyun had an injury and he couldn't dance. So, it was cool to see how he just, it was an interesting, I watched a video of it, there was an interesting performance where, like, they would just, like, raise Jonghyun from, like, the middle of the stage to just sing some parts and then bring him back down. But then they had, Lei would just do the dance parts for Jonghyun in the anyway. It was interesting. I was like, okay. But I can't even imagine. Like, he was probably super young, and he's like, this is your chance. If you mess this up, you're out forever. Probably. But, he's done some solo work. He's done some TV. But in April 8th, 2022, his 10-year contract, which, 10 years on a contract, my goodness, ended. So his contract ended. He didn't renew his contract with SM, but he did state that he would remain active with EXO in the future. So as of right now, we don't know where he stands with EXO. There's not a lot.
He's just probably like taking a break or whatever.
Yeah.
Waiting for the service era to end and then maybe see what their vibe is.
He's like, I'm Chinese. I don't need to do this military stuff. So, so I didn't really see anything like drama related to him. He just, his contract ended and he didn't want to renew, which kind of goes into the other stuff I'll talk about a bit. There is some tea I will bring up later with SM members and the Chinese members specifically, where from what I could see, the SM contracts are being really shitty to the Chinese specific members. So a lot of there was 3 Chinese members that did a whole like legal battle with them. But
yeah, I think I was reading a little bit about it too, but I thought I would wait and see what your research was before going too much further.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the member now that we did the trigger warning about. We're not going to spend a lot of time on him because I don't want to waste my breath on him, but this is the trigger warning now. So there's a former member called Chris Wu, Wu Yifan. He was Chinese Canadian. He was the main rapper and the leader of EXO M. Basically, he's a giant piece of shit. So on July 31st, 2021, he was detained by Beijing Chaoyang District Police on suspicion of rape. And he was convicted of raping 3 drunk women in his home between November and December 2020. He got 11 years and 10 months for that. And then he got 1 year and 10 months for assembling a crowd to engage in sexual promiscuity with 2 women. So I guess in China you can't have group sex, I guess, legally.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't really understand what that meant, but okay.
Yeah, basically you can't have a threesome in China. Yeah, so he has a total of 13 years and 8 months in Chinese jail. Then he will be forcibly deported from China. I'm assuming he'll be deported to Canada. Great.
Oh yeah, true.
Because he has a dual citizenship or whatever. And in July 25th, 2023, he tried to appeal and it was denied. Get out of here.
So 2034? 2035,
I
guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do the math on that, but yeah. Okay, so a bit of the details of what he did, just because I think it should be stated what he did, because he's a piece of shit. And he had an ex-girlfriend that kind of exposed all of this. She specifically stated that she was raped while intoxicated at the age of 18 when this guy was 30. And that at the time, she was speaking to at least 7 other victims of him, 2 of whom were minors at the time of the crime. So, not only is he this piece of shit, but he also doesn't care about age, apparently. So, gross. And then apparently, he never used protection. She got an STD, and some of the girls he assaulted got pregnant, and they had to get abortions. So basically, it's kind of shitty, because I still think it kind of has a bit of a stain on EXO, because he clearly used his influence that he had from being popular through EXO to make influence, because apparently he would like say, hey, I'll get you a job if you anyway, so that's him. That's all I'm going to talk about him. He's in jail. Good. And just to state, he did also leave EXO in 2014, so he wasn't really involved with EXO as they grew in popularity, so there is at least that he wasn't, but still he probably still used the status he got from EXO, which is shitty.
That's like makes it even like more pathetic that he left in 2014 and he's been convicted of this in 2020 or 2021 or whatever, and like for 6 years you were just like, I used to be an EXO. Like, shut up, bro. Like, no one cares.
Shut the fuck up. I know. Now, I didn't do a lot of research into him because I didn't want to, but apparently he was very popular in China and did solo work in China, so maybe not just the EXO fame, but general fame, but he still got his start in EXO, which is gross. So, like, fine. Okay, so that's it. We're not talking about it anymore. But there were 2 more Chinese members that have also left the band in the same timeline he left, so in 2014. So there is Luhan, who's born in 1990. He was the lead vocalist, lead dancer, visual face of the group for EXO-M. He also applied for JYP in the global audition in China, and he did not get it. So it seems like JYP has like a crazy high standard, because there's a lot of...
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't know, is there... I mean, I guess I don't know tons of JYP groups, but do they have really idols? Like, do they have any Chinese idols? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they do, but it just seems like so far it's been all the Chinese idols that didn't make it through, and I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think, yeah, this is interesting, isn't it? But in 2010, he was studying in Seoul, and he was scouted, again, just on the streets, and suggested to audition for SM, and then at that time, he became a trainee.
Okay, so he was like 20 years old. I was gonna say his picture's really like handsome. So 20, that's more acceptable. I can accept someone saying, "Whoa, you're hot."
Yeah, true. Well, this I found interesting. So in China, he is dubbed by foreign media as the Chinese counterpart to Justin Bieber due to his massive popularity. So I guess in China, he's just like huge. He currently holds the Guinness World Record for the most comments to a Weibo post, which I think Weibo is something like Facebook or something. I'm not sure. Which was in August 2014. He got that record, and then he surpassed himself in September 2015. He's also dating an actress, and apparently they got married in 2022, but it also allegedly broken up. So I don't know.
We're not sure.
Yeah, we're not sure. Yeah. As soon as he left EXO, he did start doing solo work pretty much right away. So hence his popularity in China is due to probably mostly his solo work. And then the last member, Tao, born in 93, Hyung Zitao. He was the lead rapper, lead dancer, sub-vocalist of EXO-M. He was doing wushu training and became a student athlete, and in 2010 was scouted by SM at a talent show. You're like, oh cool, you could do some sick martial art move. Come to SM. Okay. He also did some acting, and then he left SM at the same time as the other members in 2014, and he's done a lot of solo work. He also opened his own agency in 2018 called L Tao Entertainment, and he's also married, so good. The other 2 members seem to be doing pretty well for themselves. Okay, so those are all the members. So you probably noticed that some of the Chinese members left. Only the Chinese members specifically. So in 2014, the member we will not name, Luan and Tao left during legal battles with SM. So they all filed lawsuits. Chris was the first to file in 2014 to terminate his exclusive contract with SM. Then Luhan filed his lawsuit for the same thing, same year. And then so did Tao. They all want to just terminate their contracts because they claimed that they signed unfair contracts and the agency neglected their health and opinions and discriminated against them because they were Chinese. So, yikes. But then SM was like, fuck you guys, we're going to countersue you. So in 2015, they countersued against the companies that employed Lu and ex-member who were pursuing activities illegally before their termination lawsuits were even to take into court. So it's kind of what happened, like, in Imitation.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The Tea Party. So that's kind of ickiness there. And then SM claimed the two left the group without sufficient reason, even though they're like, you guys were racist. They're like, that's fine. And ignored their contracts to pursue solo schedules. In 2016... Luhan and Chris were forced to settle their lawsuits. Although they were not returning as member of EXO's, their contracts of SM Entertainment remained in effect until 2022. Jesus. However, they could pursue their careers outside of Korea and Japan through other labels and agencies. So, yeah, so kind of gross. And after 2014, that's when EXO became just EXO. So after these 3 Chinese members left, they were like, I guess we'll just become EXO. So.
Well, yeah, because didn't you say in the Mandarin one, there's only 6 people, so if half of them left, it's like,
yeah,
you might as well just join the rest of the group.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, EXO became the 10 members, basically. 10. No, 9, sorry. And they released their first EP, Overdose, as EXO. But then later, there were more subunits were created. So in 2016, EXO CBX was debuted, and that's with Chen, Baekhyun, and Xiumin. And then in 2019, EXO SC, Sehun, and Chenyo's debuted that subunit in 2019. And more tea, again, with the SM label, was in June 2023, EXO CBX wanted to terminate their contract with SM, citing issues with transparency in financial settlements and contract length. So yeah, they were just like, you guys weren't really transparent about the money we were going to get and the contract length, blah, 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 all like that stuff. But I'm like, it seems to be such a consistent issue with SM. And like we kind of talked about other groups, like SHINee, also, a lot of their, like, Taemin and Onu don't do their solo stuff with SM.
Yeah.
Like, So, that is some of the background of SM. And just as a general note, too, SM also has, they represent SHINee, and then NCT's their other huge group, which, again, is full of subunits. So I'm like, ugh, can you guys, like, chill? They also have aespa, and then Rise.
We all know how that turned out.
Yeah. And the only other kind of contract thing which we discussed was that Lay left after his 10-year contract and just didn't re-sign his contract. So, and then I kind of touched on it a bit too, but Baekhyun also opened his own agency, IMB 100, and a few of the members now do their solo work under that label. Again, we were kind of talking about it a bit, but EXO does have a lot of their own accomplishments, which made some people be like, oh, they're better than BTS, which, come on. But they do have a lot to stand on their own. So EXO's first album, XOXO, in 2013, released alongside their breakthrough single, Growl, was received positively and sold over 1 million copies, and it's repackaged, making EXO the first Korean act to do so in 12 years. EXO's 6th studio album, Don't Mess Up My Tempo, released in 2018, became their highest charting album on the US Billboard, debuting at number 23. Their 8th studio album, Exist, in 2023, is their best-selling album in South Korea, where it sold over 2 million copies, which I guess makes sense. You've been around forever.
Yeah.
I would hope your trajectory would go up. They've also won tons of awards. They've won 5 consecutive Album of the Year's award, the Mama Awards, and they've performed over 100 concerts, blah, 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 you know, the normal stuff. But also I found this interesting. In 2018, they earned a Guinness record for the most Daesang Grand Prize awards at the Mama Awards with 5 wins. I'm like, oh. Like, again, it's a kind of interesting, like, they won more of those awards than BTS. Interesting.
Yeah. That's from 2018 though.
Sure. But I smell conspiracy. People will be like, try to keep BTS down. But that, like, sums up, like, my background of, sums up, quote unquote, EXO. But yeah, so I listened to some of their music to, you know, get an idea. It's fine. Like, again, like, I like some of their songs. It's fine, but I definitely, nothing, like, popped out, like, BTS was like, whoa, or, like, even, like, Stray Kids or anything like that. It was, like, run-of-the-mill pop music. There's some good stuff there, but...
Yeah, I was struggling to, like, focus on it because, yeah, it wasn't really, like, mind-blowing or anything. Like, there wasn't really anything that, like, popped off, so, like, I kept, like, dipping in, and then I would get, like, kind of bored. I did listen to the playlist that you made for EXO. I just took out the Sky songs off. But I listened to like all the EXO songs that you had on there, so I got like a decent idea of it. And, like some of them are good, like Monster, Transformer, Cream Soda, Power, and Run This. Those are like the songs. But like truly my favorite song by them is First Snow. So
Is what?
The First Snow. It's a Christmas
Well, the
song.
first... Of course you would.
Yeah, like that song I like more than their like just normal everyday music, so I don't really know what that says, but
Yeah, it's same thing. Like, I only had a few songs off each of their albums that I really liked, and yeah, like, again, it was interesting to look into them because of SM was kind of sketchy and stuff like that, but when I really digged into their music, I was like, I don't get why people were obsessed with them.
No, I think like I wouldn't do it on my own. I wouldn't like listen like, oh, it's an EXO day.
No, yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, in the mix, sure.
Yeah.
Like, and the other cool thing, the one fun fact that I found out was a song from their first album, Wolf, was actually the song that in that Kingdom show was the song that Stray Kids, ATEEZ, and BTOB performed as the group together. And it's that iconic performance that we always see clips from where, like, Felix is jumping on Wooyoung. So that's the EXO song Wolf. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a good song. So that was about it.
Yeah, I mean, as, like, industry, like, obviously powerhouse, I guess. I can respect them, but it just wasn't really for me. Like, not all the groups are gonna be for me. But
yeah,
I thought they were fine, and like I'll be honest, the like complexity of their group really turns me off.
totally.
That I just like when I was saying like when I started seeing like XOM, XOTB, I was like, oh, it's giving me NCT vibes, and I have no interest in that whatsoever. So it was like kind of turning me off a little bit. I tried to look into the members a little bit to see if like I could see a bias or something in there, because like I think I said a few episodes ago, it's not really Kai for me. I like Baekhyun and I like Chanyeol, and those are like people that I've seen in other instances. So I was like, they seem cool. I did try to listen to their solo stuff though, and it was like pretty mid. But I was like, maybe I'm just not in the right space, because like it was like doesn't always hit right away, like 17.
Yeah.
We had to come back to it. Maybe I need to come back to it. But like as a first impression, I was just like, it's fine.
Yeah, I just didn't get the hype. Yeah, I didn't get the hype. Again, that I'm sure, you know, maybe because we're so deep into it, like at the time, maybe all this music, you know, is groundbreaking, maybe. Now we just hear like iterations of EXO, maybe. But again,
Yeah, that's true.
But again, when I hear like people be like, EXO and BTS were like neck to neck, I go, oh, it's not. It's really not.
I mean,
like,
even if they were, that was for like 2 years or something.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. It's not. It's not the same.
It's not the same. But that's.
If this guy comes out of service in December and they do a comeback, I'll listen to it.
Yeah, we gotta check it out. We gotta
just to see like where they go, and like, you know, if Kai Kai's comeback we obviously listened to. I think in sometime in May, Baekhyun has a comeback coming too, which I was like, I'll listen to it. I'll check it
We'll
out.
check it out. We'll keep y'all posted on the
Yeah.
EXO train. Now they're in the mix though, but yeah, very interesting background of like where they came from,
Yeah.
like from SM. Like I found that stuff interesting, but yeah, I'm sorry any EXOs that are listening. We're not giving a rousing review, but we
Hey,
keep it real here.
it's for you.
It's for you. Yeah, I
When
get
their
it.
concert ticket goes on sale, you don't have to worry about us.
Exactly. We get it.
Yeah, I thought that was fascinating, interesting, a lot of good information there. Good job. Good job on your research.
Girl, it took, yeah. Anyway, I appreciate, but yeah, it was draining me towards the end. I mean, like, there's a lot of members of this group.
Yeah, especially once you get into a group that has like real drama too, it starts to get a little like dicey, and you're like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, shit got real at one point. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, I was not expecting this turn in the research train, but but I mean, I would say that about wraps up another episode of Bias Effect Podcast. And we'll catch you on Slayer.
Peace.
Bye.